And so yeah, I ended up sleeping um very little. I had to call and ask one of the nurses to come get the kid so that I could like get a little bit of rest. And I normally don't like doing that. Like with my first child, I actually had the nurse tell me to let him handle the baby more because if my blood pressure didn't come down, they weren't going to let me out of there. And yeah, that frustrated the shit out of me because it's just like I can't do anything. But you know, there were witnesses, so that I guess worked out kind of. But anyways, on child number two, so yeah, I was getting pissed off because he was getting mad at my child because she was just like not settling. She was all over the place. It's a fucking hospital and it's a new place, and she's trying to sleep on this little like couch bed thing, and it's just not working. And normally she would be in her own room in her own bed, and you know she would get up a bunch of times, but eventually she would settle. But anyways, so yeah, he was really getting pissed off, and him getting pissed off was really pissing me off because it's just like you need to have more patience with her. I'm the one who just gave birth, and I'm the one who has been in labor for hours and not slept a fucking wink because when I'm in labor, I cannot sleep. Like I was in labor for over 24 hours with the first one, and I don't even remember how long with the second. Not to mention she was breech, so they had to do a turnaround. So yeah, I hadn't slept, I hadn't eaten. I was just I didn't get to eat until after she was born. And that was a fucking nightmare because the kitchen was closed after a certain time. And both my children came in the early AMs after sometime after 12, either an hour or right around it. So that was frustrating for me. I like that's what I hated about that birthing experience. Like it was way better, the food was way better. But having to deal with him getting so irritated at a fucking 2-year-old like that was really pissing me off, and I just wanted him to leave. I really did. I really just wanted to tell him to leave because she wasn't the problem. He just needed to have more patience, and both of them like both of them ended up asleep and I was awake, and I had the other, you know, my second child was just up a lot. She liked to be up during the night. So I barely slept the entire time we were at the hospital. Like hardly at all. Because on top of people coming in to finally like to do the usual checks, I wasn't sleeping because he was mad at the I almost said the baby. What? He was mad at the first baby and getting visibly and verbally pissed off, and I was just like, okay. At one point I had to bring her up to the hospital bed with me so that she could like feel comfortable and calm down and maybe like go to sleep. And I was over it by then. And then after giving birth, when my mom actually came to help, now the house was a mess because I was unable to be mobile. Not to mention, I spent a lot of time doing like those breech baby positions. Like, I spent most of my times doing that. And I actually had stopped taking calls from my sister during, like, towards the end of the pregnancy because she kept complaining, and I just was just like, I can't. I'm busy trying to get this baby to turn around on my own, and I'm, you know, home by myself more often than not. I can't keep taking in all of this negativity. I need to focus on positive stuff and not feel like all the world is crashing down around me because I was really close to my fucking due date, and the she hadn't turned around, and I was stressed to the fucking max, and I was trying to get somebody to come and help, and like it was just, oh yeah, I'll come during this time, and then it didn't happen. And it's just like, if you're not gonna do it, just say you're not gonna do it, because somebody was supposed to be there for like when I was induced, and then somebody else was supposed to come for after, but that didn't happen. But I get it, they all have their own lives, but don't say something in the affirmative if you don't know. Just say you don't know, that's fine. And then, the run around circles again and shit. And it's fine if you have your own life. Like, I'm not sitting here, like, being awful about it. But I don't like when people say, yes, I'll do this at this time, but nobody does it. Like, I kept getting made promises that were never going to be kept by not only family, but these fucking relationships. And I was by myself with a toddler for most of the day, struggling to even move because by this point I feel like a fucking giant elephant. And I'm just trying to do these positions in between cleaning up after her and making sure like the main areas are clean, the rest of the frickin' house is a mess, and making sure that we're eating. And her dad was spending way too much time at work, but whatever, money. But the thing is like, the issue wasn't that he was spending. No, that was something else. That was the next thing. But yeah, it was because of the money that he kept staying late, and so I ended up doing all of this stuff all damn day. And my breaks entailed me doing basic human shit. And when I did have time to actually do something else, I couldn't bring myself to do anything fun because all I could see was all the stuff that needed to be done. Like, I was behind on freaking laundry. I was behind on just about everything because I could barely fucking move, and I was so fucking drained. Honestly, I really could have just ended just thinking about it. So I'm pushing through that too. And, fast forward to the baby being born. My mom actually comes for a little while. She actually catches up on all of the work while she's there. Like, a fucking tornado of greatness going through the freaking house. Spotless. House absolutely spotless. Me, I was fine at first. I thought that I felt even better than ever. And so I started like trying to clean up before she had gotten there, because like I think it was like 2 weeks before she could get there, 2 weeks after the baby was born. And so yeah, I started trying to like clean up and do stuff, and my body started to protest, and then I couldn't move from even standing positions. And I was just like, okay, that hurts. I can't move. So I had to like wait for my body to like relax a bit so that I could move again, because like it would lock up. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's painful. And then she was like, well, you're not supposed to be moving or whatever anyway. So I ended up sitting for the rest of that time. And whenever I would ask the father of the children to get anything for me, he would immediately say no, and then do it every time I asked. And that was the moment that I decided that this might be the end. That was the beginning of the actual fucking end. Because he kept saying no, and he meant it as a joke, but doing it every single time I asked when I can't get up frustrated the shit out of me. I was already having trouble because I couldn't breastfeed. It was too painful. The cramps they don't tell you about get so much worse with the next child.